Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is D-Free, and for today's video, we are going to be talking about Zenkai characters and ones that I think I would love to see coming up soon. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content if you're new, and here we go. Alright, so there are you like how that was in sync? There are so many characters in this game now. Look at this list. There's so many characters. Now, I want to say there are characters that are not going to be on this list that you would probably expect from me because, I mean, I've done videos like this before and they've been in it, like Blue Krillin. Obviously, I want him to Zenkai. But I also kind of want to show some love as an honorable mention to characters like Yellow Pycon. Where is his Zenkai? One of the oldest characters in the game. He might be the single oldest character alongside Blue Pan without a Zenkai anymore. So where are their Zenkais at? It's not even because I particularly love the characters, but like, dude, they're so old. Maybe one day. So there's characters that I want to see, and we're going to talk about a number of them. And also, if you guys would like to see a opposite version of this, characters I don't want to see Zenkai, be sure to get this video to 1,000 likes for today's like goal. If you're new to the channel, like I said, subscribe, and let's go ahead and jump in. One thing I will say on that topic really quickly is the idea that I don't want to see characters Zenkai, I stopped saying that months ago when I realized that the power scale of Zenkais got tuned down dramatically. Because a couple of years ago, or even like a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit less than that, the Zenkais were the premium characters in this game. They weren't really, but they felt like it because they were so much better than the actual premium characters. But around the time Yellow Future Gohan and Kid Buu, which is like the beginning of last year, those characters started popping up. Then it's like, oh, wait a minute, the Zenkais are getting a little bit worse, the LFs are getting a lot better, the power creep obviously has gone up crazy since then, and we're in a position now where Zenkais are the ones you don't even really want to get half the time anymore. So I'm not really scared of any character Zenkaiing anymore because I'm confident that they're not going to be crazy good for the most part. Anyways, unless it's an LF, I guess. But anyways, so there's so many characters. Shout out to Nappa, actually. Young Nappa. Alright, so the first one on the list is funny because I actually really don't want to see him Zenkai, but he's on my list solely because he's the oldest LF character without a Zenkai. I really do think that he or Purple Rose, who I'll talk about in a minute, is going to be getting a Zenkai. I'm not going to delve into what I think they'll change for his kit, but because I have a separate video that I did last week covering that. So if you want to see that, be sure to click on the notification that should pop up right now on the screen or via the link in the description. It'll cover him and Purple Rose in detail. But what I will say in terms of Rose, because I want to just talk about him a little bit more, is I obviously think he deserves the Zenkai more. Like, I don't really want to see this guy Zenkai and come back to relevance and have him and like the other UI Goku just dodging everything. I don't really want to see that. But I can't ignore the fact he's the oldest one without a Zenkai at this point, which is crazy to say. Anyways, this guy, though, I think could be really interesting. He's got a lot of things in his kit, a lot of different parts in his kit that are actually really good things, like the forcing of the strike draw. Anytime he's forced with, anytime he matches with an enemy, that happens when he switches in or when they switch while he's out there, which is crazy. If he had stuff that allowed him to like get more buffs for using more cards or whatever, that would be helpful so he can maybe get a more likely switch from the opponent. But he also destroys Dragon Balls. He always nullifies endurance no matter what he's doing. His defensive stuff's kind of whatever. He's also built kind of wonky where he gets worse as characters start falling off from the opponent's team, not your own, from the opponent's team, which is completely counterintuitive to the way that the game plays. And his ultimate functions in the opposite direction, which is more normal, but he's kind of weirdly built. But he is a character that has the parts of stuff that you would like to see in characters going forward. So a Zenkai for him could just let them kind of fix their wrongs. I really don't know what they were thinking when they designed this character, and it led to him never really being good, some of the decisions that they made. But he's a character that could be good with, again, some tweaks and fixes. All right, so moving on. There are so many Gokus in the game. It's just, as you would imagine, as the real main character for the entirety of the series. I don't know why I said real, but you get the point. And by extension, there are so many Gokus I kind of want to see Zenkai. Like, I really want to see this yellow SS2 Goku Zenkai. He might actually be on my list, I'm not sure. But one thing you'll notice is with these older characters, that the thing that's kind of happening here is their Z abilities are trash. Even this guy, He's really awesome. He's such a good Zenkai. I love him. I called him the most broken Zenkai in ages because I really do think he's that. But I can't ignore the fact that his Z ability is garbage. Single stat to defense only. They do not change Z abilities. They used to do that with balance changes. I don't know why that didn't get adapted, or why it doesn't get adapted nowadays with Zenkais. Maybe they thought it was too powerful, considering they added in the Zenkai ability and the potential for, you know, too much there. I don't know, but nowadays it might as well be added to where they've changed those two. They don't have to become the new version, right? Where characters are now adding actual damage, like, you know, 3% to special move damage and then extra stat increase. They don't have to do that version of it, but just a double stat. Add in strike attack or whatever, you know, or a lesser amount to strike attack if they're a Saiyan movies character, you know, something like that. Anyways, so many Gokus I'd like to see in Zenkai. Some of these EXs are just awesome too. Like this Armor Goku, I'd love to see him get a Zenkai, or just actually a sparking release, to be honest. That would be really cool. And if they want to make him like, Ultra SSJ Goku and make him super buff like Trunks, I'd be all in for that. IT Goku, again, trash Z ability as well with the green, but he's a character I used to want to not Zenkai. Now I kind of don't really care. But the real ones I have is Heart Virus Goku. So those were just kind of me kind of talking about some of the other characters, because there really is a lot of characters like this purple Goku. Again, notice how they all have trash Z abilities or color-based Z abilities. Green Z ability here, purple Z ability here. He might have movies as well, but I believe he's double defense purple. That's just the way the game was. It's just how the game was. You know, it wasn't as flexible as it is now. Especially with how it is today, where all the best characters are all Saiyans and they can function on the team together with Z abilities. That just wasn't a thing. Even if all the best characters were Saiyans, they didn't have Saiyan Z abilities. Now they do. So it's just whatever. Anyways, moving on. His Z abilities for Yellow. He is another character that I've said before in the past, I don't love anime accuracy in this game just because it doesn't translate well to the game. But I think that he is a character that if you really, really pump up the damage output and offer defeated buffs on him when he's defeated for allies, he could actually be kind of interesting. So the way he plays is, as you would imagine, like I said, anime accuracy. He's also a character, I believe, I'm pretty sure, he is a character that got a balance change. So he would be getting a balance change and a Zenkai throughout his lifespan. So that's part of the reason probably why he hasn't gotten this yet. But the same applied to Purple Vegeta. I think Purple Vegeta might have got 2 balance changes. There's a couple characters that got 2 balance changes. Anyways, Purple Scouter Vegeta got his Zenkai and balance change. Nonetheless, though, which I believe Purple Vegeta's Z ability was just for Saiyan, and they added Frieza for Saiyan. Like I said, they don't change Z abilities nowadays. Anyways. So he picks up draw speed here and damage on the main. He needs key restore or actual key there. The way he was kind of using cards and spamming them with the draw speed was the card cost down. -10 to the cost of all of them for the first 30 counts. Make it the first 45 to 60 just to make this a little better. The other unique he has here is -5% to own health every time he uses an arts card once 15 counts have elapsed from battle start. So there is a delay to how quickly he starts losing. So really, if you wanted to keep him from losing HP, you got to do as much as you can in the first 15 counts. After that, for the rest of the battle, and it's not going away, it can't be canceled, he will lose HP every time he uses a card. Also cancels enemies' attribute upgrades when this character is defeated. So he has a defeated effect. So the baseline is here for them to say cancels enemies' attribute upgrades, which is very powerful. And then like something like heals allies and gives damage to allies, that would make him just a lot better. And because he would be the only character with that type of mechanic with the defeated effects that actually can defeat themselves, which is hilarious. You can't actually kill yourself really, because I think he just goes down to 1. It's been a while since I used him. I'm pretty sure he just goes down to 1. But you basically make it easier to get that if you want to get it. So that's hilarious to say. They can even go even further beyond that and make it do something similar to like Purple, Super Saiyan Blue, Future Saga Vegeta, the one that came out for the 2-year anniversary or shortly thereafter, where he offers like Dragon Ball removal, stuff like that. They can make it even better. But obviously this guy needs access to ki, he needs access to damage, just a lot of damage. There's no damage really in his kit outside of the main. He can use the main almost instantly, but there is a slight delay. Like I said, there's 15 counts here, 5 counts here. That's 5 counts is the shortest requirement on any main ability in the game. They don't go 0 counts. But if they wanted to make that change, I would not be opposed to it. But maybe they extend the delay on this to like 25, so it's not as noticeable. because it can be kind of hard in the beginning to go from neutral to gain priority to even do anything before he starts actually taking damage. But he just needs damage and some more ki. And if they want to add in, which he picks up both of those on his green card, maybe you allow for him to auto like force the green in his hand with the main or something. He picks up ki recovery here, but make it restore 40 ki as well, just whatever. And you could also make it change blasts to strikes. There's a lot of different ways that can make this character better. But I think that's pretty much it. Maybe, you know what they also can do is make this go up 2 levels. Because he kills himself. That's the thing. He's the only character in the game that actually does this effect where they just kill themselves. There might be other characters that, like Bojack, for example, purple, like when you cover, he hurts your allies. It's not very common in this game because it doesn't translate well. But this guy, I think we should lean all in. He kills himself, so why don't we just make him super powerful for that short amount of time? All right, so this Goku kind of plays similarly at minus the minus HP stuff, in that he is meant to spam cards, but he was designed weirdly, and he's just, in terms of like them trying to keep him off of power creep. Like there were characters that came out in this time period, like Red Majin Vegeta, who again was designed kind of weirdly. He was very powerful, but he applied a sustained damage debuff to your allies. Yeah, he made your allies take more damage. Imagine something like that coming out today in Legends. It just wouldn't make any sense. It didn't make sense then. It certainly wouldn't make sense now. All right, so this guy has this effect where he gets damage and draw speed. He actually picks up 2 levels, but it's only for 5 counts. And if you're charge stepping, which wasn't really a thing back then, it was just all side steps. But if you're charge stepping, that's literally like 1 card. You're just the 5 counts is gone. It's maybe 2 cards. Okay, it's gone. It's worthless. But 2 levels is extremely powerful. So maybe they make this 25 and 30 or 20 and 25, so you can at least use some stuff. And then again, he can use it after 5 counts, so it's extremely early. So I understand what the concern was when it came down to him. Also, he's a character that goes off in the beginning of the match. He's very similar in terms of design to the Heart Virus Goku, just meant to do burst damage early on. For the first 60 counts, he gets effects including damage increase, cost down, and damage cut. Now, I didn't mention damage cut. This guy, it's kind of counterintuitive, but he just needs it so he doesn't get blown up in 1 card. They would add it to him as well, even if it's just like 20%. These characters need damage cut. They still get blown up, but they get blown up less. So this guy also picked up 15% damage inflicted every time he draws a blast card. That used to be so powerful. So just they could just kind of add more ways for him to get more cards. He can change his strikes to blast as well down here. He gets a lot of blast increases throughout everything he's doing. This guy I used to call it Blast Family. Him, Goten, and SS2LF Gohan, they would tear teams up. I would love for him to get a Zenkai so I can revisit that team, because they're all way better now than they were back then relative to the rest of the game. Well, I guess maybe not, but you get my point. Anyways, so yeah, this guy is definitely a character I would like to see it. And he actually has a good Z ability, unlike everybody else. And him and actually, I think it's only him. He might be the originator of this like split here, where they're doing blast attack and strike defense, or strike attack and blast defense. They don't really do those splits that often. This guy might be the originator at it. Who else is super old with it? Is it Purple SS3? I think it's Purple SS3. But it's still very uncommon. Like, I think the last characters that really got that was like, what? Kefla and Purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegito? I think so. Anyways, moving on. Very uncommon. So speaking of Purple, I recently used this guy in a video and he was terrible. But there were a few positives. For one, if you remember this guy when he came out, this art is so good. He was a titan. He was like the best character in the game, basically. This guy was a real menace for several reasons, but the main reason was that defense. His defensive numbers were at 190,000 when transformed. That's gotta be, like, I need Renzi to add like a sorting feature on the site, because that's gotta be the highest defensive value in the game. Let's just pull up Vegito, because he's just the first defense that comes to mind. Yeah, 170s. Seriously. Like, he's not a transforming character, so that's the stipulation. How many transforming defense types are there even in the game? I'd have to open Legends to sort it out better. Anyways, the point is, his defense is through the roof. So he would be, with a Zenkai, with the added like 40% to defenses that he would pick up from the Zenkai ability, potentially some more extra cut added into his kit. Vegito was previously and might still be after this, but this guy might be the most tanky character in the game. So there's that. And he just has stuff in his kit that's good. He's got the healing by 25. He has draw speed for 40 counts, which isn't bad. He can use it super early after transforming. He gets Vanish Restoration anytime the enemy switches. The thing about these when the enemy switches effects is you need to have the damage to force them to switch. So he does need a lot of damage added to his kit. He just doesn't have it. But speaking of damage, he does have things that happen for him as well. So per defeated Lineage of Evil or Movies character, he gets more cut and more damage that resets as switches go on. So he's got some last man standing stuff. If you want to make that non-cancelable, that would be incredible for him. The numbers don't really need to change that much. Maybe the cut goes to 20, but that might be too much, but 15, I guess. But make him non-cancelable and take this timer count restriction off of the cut. See, they were scared of his defenses. That's the only reason that cut's on there. But he also has this effect down here where he buffs allies by 25% for 20 counts anytime he gets hit. And this is where all of his damage is. He has to get hit to get damage. This is the point. He needs his own natural damage. He needs the when entering the battlefield get 40 or 60. It goes really from 60 to 110, but I don't think they'll give him all that. But anytime the attack is done, like, do not tap punch or tap shot this guy, because he's picking up 50% for himself, because the allied bonuses is for himself unless it states otherwise. So this would be 50% cumulative, and the allies getting the extra increases as well for 20 counts is an extremely long time. He also has blast armor. He also what's it called? Cannot be nullified by other special moves here, and does a sub count downgrade on the enemy. Like, he has some stuff in his kit that's really garbage the ability. Yeah, garbage the ability. He's got some stuff in his kit that's aged really well. So he could be a really interesting character. If you want to see how he performed, like I said, he wasn't very good, but check it out, the triple full power cooler video, or final form cooler, excuse me. It'll be on the screen whenever we finish in like a second, because the last character is Hercule. Now, assuming this guy doesn't wind up being annoying like Yellow Hercule was. This guy, by the way, I still love. If you don't know, if you've never used this guy, he's got the chants that go on in the background. It just goes, Satan, Satan, Satan. It's so great. So great. He was one of the original characters that had that type of effect where he buffs allies just passively. He didn't need to switch or anything like that. You may recognize this from other characters. Nowadays, a lot of them are kind of doing it, but the next one that was really relevant was probably LF First Form Frieza when he first released alongside Piccolo, who Piccolo also, I believe, did something similar with the buddy mechanic and all that, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So this guy's just, his Zenkai would be kind of weird. Like, he's an annoying character because he's not going to do any damage. They could add some damage and damage cut to him, but that's about it. I don't think he has a defeated effect here, so you can add that too. He has endurance. He's one of the original characters, if not the single original character with endurance. I need to go back and double check. It's been so long, but he's one of the originators of endurance. And when that activates, he gets 80% cut. He's got no damage anywhere. He inflicts all enemies with their blast cost going up by 99. Like, so he does all this other stuff. It's just meant to be an annoying character. But what I mean by don't make him too annoying is, like, I don't want to see paralysis or feints or all that. Just keep that crap out. Just don't do it. I don't care about that. But anything else, I'm cool with it. Whatever else is fair game. His blue card shortens allies sub count by 10. Because it does no damage, right? At least make it massive. Just make it massive. Destroys all of your own and your enemy's cards. Does not reload, but you reduce your opponent. You basically steal 30 ki from your opponent if you want to read it that way. He also is one of the only characters to hold a blue card still to this day. There's probably like 3 or 4 characters, including the most recently introduced Goku Black. He might be, again, another thing, he might be the very first character that had this. So, look, no equips either, my goodness. Such an old character that's sitting at the bottom of everybody's boxes. His stats are terrible. His Zenkai would be trash. His Zenkai would be trash because his stats are not going to go up this much. Look at this grid. These are hero level stats. So I'm going to conclude, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had fun. I definitely did. It's always, honestly, it's always really fun taking a trip down memory lane and discussing these older characters that you never see anymore, you never hear anything about anymore. And obviously I can just like showcase Hercule, which I may or may not want to do now. But it's still nice to just get it, talk about it in this capacity. So If you guys enjoyed it, like I said, hit that thumbs up. Help us hit our like goal of 1,000. I don't remember exactly why I said that, but you know, and I'll check it out later. And if you want to see any of the videos mentioned throughout this one, it should be clickable on the screen right now. Have an awesome day, guys, and stay safe. Take it easy, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.